Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to take a moment and bring a recent missing persons case to your attention, and that's the case of Hannah Kobayashi. Hannah, who lives in Hawaii, recently went missing while on her way to visit her family in New York, but she goes missing amidst strange text messages, social media posts, and some other oddities that we'll cover shortly. For those of you who are new here, my name is Blue, and I'm a Florida police officer with 10 years of experience. I'd like to use that experience to bring you into the world of crime and mystery as we dive into these cases together. If you like that kind of content, consider subscribing. But with all that said, let's get into today's video. Before we begin, let's go over a quick background of our missing person, Hannah. Hannah Kobayashi is a 31-year-old woman who lives in Maui, Hawaii. Hannah, according to her family, works as a writer and as a photographer, and a quick check of her social media appears to show a happy, poetic young woman. On November 8th, Hannah takes a flight out of Maui, with her final destination being New York. Several articles describe this trip as a bucket list vacation, and Hannah was supposed to meet up with her sister in a hotel before attending a show together. However, Hannah never made it to New York. Let's go back to that flight info. As we just mentioned, Hannah was flying from Hawaii to New York. Most flights of that length are going to have at least one layover, and this one was no different. Hannah had a layover at LAX, the Los Angeles International Airport, the 8th largest airport in the world. If you've never been there, just to put it in perspective, in 2023, this airport had over 75 million people come through it. It is a massive airport, one that is nearly always filled with people. Now, Hannah should not have been here long. She went there for a layover to catch a connecting flight, and according to reports from family, she was taking the flight the same day, so there would have been no reason for her to leave the airport. However, Hannah never showed up to New York like she was expected to do. Now, this alone is obviously extremely worrying, but family says that they were in contact through text with Hannah, as two family members asked her if she had made her flight, prompting Hannah to respond with no. This was Friday, November 8th. It seems communication was then limited with Hannah for the next day or so, but family continued by their own efforts to track and communicate with her. On Saturday, November 9th, Hannah was spotted at a bookstore in a popular shopping center called The Grove in Los Angeles, according to her sister. However, she and family don't know why. This is 14 miles away from the LAX. Again, Hannah was supposed to take a connecting flight the same day, and apparently had no plans or reason to leave the airport and delay her flight, at least none that the family was aware of. This same day, however, Hannah sends several Venmo payments to two different people, the names of whom the family does not recognize. The amount is not reported, as best that I can find. On Sunday, November 10th, family discovers a video that was posted to YouTube, which allegedly shows Hannah at the LeBron Trial Experience, an event held at the same shopping center as previously mentioned. Hannah even posted this picture from the event to her Instagram account. That brings us to Monday, November 11th. Hannah's mother and sister text her, asking her if she made it to New York, and yet, again, are told no. This same day, Hannah sends out multiple strange texts to friends and family, which, at least on the surface, appear to show Hannah in an unusual state of mind, and also cause the family to fear that she was in danger. Hannah sends a message to a friend, stating she doesn't feel safe, and that someone was trying to steal her identity and her funds. As reported, she is quoted as sending the following text: "Deep hackers wiped my identity, stole all of my funds, and have had me on a mindfuck since Friday." This was sent to a friend of hers. She also messages saying, "I got tricked into giving away all of my funds for someone that I thought I loved." Additional messages further muddy the waters of truth, and only appear to show Hannah in a strange state of mind. She tells family that she had some sort of spiritual awakening and was heading back to the airport, sends another message that she was sorry for the craziness and that she had definitely been intercepted. Now fortunately, Hannah and her family share location with each other, a feature on iPhone that is invaluable in these situations. In this case, it's likely that's how her family was able to track Hannah to different locations. Now her family reports that Hannah was seen on surveillance footage at an undisclosed location, 20 miles away from the airport. In the footage, they say that Hannah does not appear to be in good condition, and more importantly, that she is not alone. This CCTV footage was reportedly captured at an area in the vicinity of Pico Station by Crypto Arena in downtown LA. Now, according to family, Hannah's phone has been turned off since November 11th, and her last known location shows her at the airport again, reportedly at the daytime. Which means that the very last information available, video footage, shows Hannah near a rail station with an unknown person, and as stated previously, appearing to not be in good condition. So, how is this case being handled? Well, according to the family, they're understandably frustrated so far with the Los Angeles Police Department's initial response. It appears that they reported Hannah missing on Friday, November 8th, as several news articles report that the LAPD released a missing persons flyer that day. However, Hannah's family was reportedly told that it would take 48 hours before they could do anything, because Hannah was not elderly, reported to have any mental or physical illness, and not a juvenile. Now, we've covered this before many times on this channel, but I'm going to say it again as it bears repeating. You do not need to wait 24, 48, or 72 hours in order to report a person missing, no matter the circumstance. This was an unofficial policy by some departments from the 1970s to the early 2000s, and something that was later spread by movies and TV shows. The family did the right thing by reporting her immediately. Now, going off of my experience, I would be shocked if the family was told nothing would be done for 48 hours, especially when we know how important the first 48 hours are to any serious investigation. That being said, I am not disputing their account. But given Hannah's texts over the next few days, I would be shocked if she was not considered an endangered missing person by the LAPD at this point. Let me give you guys some insight into how we operate when it comes to these cases. Police consider somebody endangered when they suffer from some type of mental illness, such as schizophrenia or depression, or any type of physical ailment, such as hypertension or epilepsy, or any ailment where the lack of medication or treatment might pose a risk to their health. In addition, if there is any indication that the person made threats to harm themselves, harm others, or were taken against their will, or possibly have been the victim of a crime, they would be considered endangered. Now, based on the timeline we just established, both through the family statements and several news outlets, it appears that at least for the first day, Hannah did not fit that criteria. Remember, police do not have the resources to throw themselves headlong into any investigation, and so, just like a hospital will triage patients based on the extent of their injuries or health risks, so too will police departments decide what cases get the most priority based on factors like we mentioned previously. That being said, the family is still reporting that the LAPD is not being much help, and neither is the LAX. It is reported that they have gotten the FBI involved, and that I think is a great idea. Reportedly, the FBI is also helping them in expediting subpoenas for Hannah's phone records, camera footage from several places, her bank account information, and likely her social media accounts. The phone record subpoena especially is very useful, and with that you would be able to see every single call or text Hannah made or received. But even better would be accessing Hannah's iCloud account, which would show the actual text messages themselves, assuming she was backing them up to the cloud. So, I think we can all agree that Hannah's life is likely in danger. I think many of you may be thinking the same thing based on Hannah's text that I am, and I believe it is very likely that she had some type of mental break. While I am assuming that Hannah reportedly had no mental illness, as she was not classified as an endangered missing person initially, that does not mean she couldn't have had a sudden onset of some type of psychosis. As a matter of fact, people are vulnerable to being diagnosed with schizophrenia, for instance, into their 30s. And there are even people who get their first symptoms in their 40s, which is called late onset schizophrenia. Now, I'm certainly not diagnosing her as such, but it is important to at least consider, based on her text, that she may have been having a mental health crisis, based on either an underlying illness or even perhaps something drug-related. This is not to make an ugly accusation against her, but I can tell you from experience, both personal and in law enforcement, how these things can happen, even to someone you've known your entire life and could never see it happening to. That, of course, is assuming that Hannah was the one sending those messages in the first place. Now, based on her location services, social media posts, and video footage confirming that she was in those locations she had reportedly been seen at, it is very likely she was the one in possession of her phone for at least the first few days. That being said, family does claim that they think someone else may have been texting at some point from Hannah's phone. And one reason for it is because at some point Hannah uses the word hun, a word her family states she never uses. One of the last texts the family received is an extremely worrying one, and in it, Hannah states she is scared and can't come back home. This is after Hannah texts her aunt stating that she was charging her phone and heading back to the airport, but that she might need some help getting to New York, adding that it's a long story. This is one of the latest pictures released, which shows Hannah getting off her flight and arriving at the LAX. Family strongly believes that Hannah may have been the victim of human trafficking, and even further, that she may have been drugged by whoever she was with. It absolutely would not be a ridiculous claim to think that Hannah could be a victim of human trafficking. Even if she wasn't drugged but was having a mental breakdown, she easily could be getting influenced by whoever these people are that she was seen with, and those that she was sending money to. Now, for those who have been following the story, you're probably noticing one aspect that I've left out so far: Hannah's ex-boyfriend. According to reports, Hannah had been planning this trip for a while, and bought tickets with her then boyfriend. Unfortunately, they broke up for unknown reasons, but decided to travel together anyway as they had already purchased the tickets. According to family, Hannah and her ex sat in separate seats and did not interact during their travels. Hannah's father, who has himself flown to LA to help in the search, states that the ex made the connecting flight to New York, and that he has been cooperating in the investigation so far, expressing that he does not want the ex to be harassed or suspected of anything thus far. But what do you guys think happened? Is it possible Hannah met someone and had a secret relationship with them, possibly being catfished or scammed? She does make the claim that she lost all her funds to someone she thought she loved. However, she also claims that deep hackers stole her identity and wiped all her funds out. It does seem that she met with someone, as she was seen on surveillance footage at the rail station, and she was sending money to people via Venmo. As an investigator, I would be very interested in what that subpoena reveals about who she sent the money to. What stands out to you guys about this case? I'd love to hear your own theories in the comments. If you all have any questions or just want a dialogue, I'll be responding to them below. But mainly, especially if any of you are in the LA area, take a good look at these pictures and flyer released by the LAPD, and keep an eye out. Anyone that sees her should immediately call 911, and I would personally not approach her, but try to keep her in sight until the police did arrive. And as with all these cases, please consider the family in your comments, and try to imagine just how difficult this time is for them. I hope you'll all join me in praying both for the family and for Hannah's safe return. Until next time, guys.